Hi everyone, my name is Mama Arifin Khairuddin. Today I'm going to be, or in this video, I'm going to be presenting my literature project, Task B. It involves creating something based on the novel that we have chosen, and I have chosen the novel of Mrs. Palfrey at the Claremont. And the title of the poem is The Quiet Waiting. In faded halls where footsteps slow, old dreams like autumn embers glow. Among the chairs and crumbling walls, the ghost of youth in silence calls. A letter late, a glance unseen, loneliness wears a satin sheen. They sip at tea, they speak in sighs, and meet the world through borrowed lies. Yet in a boy's kind, careless art, a brittle hand can grasp a heart, and from the ashes briefly rise a tenderness that time belies. The Claremont hums a hollow tune of waiting out the waning moon. But still within the dying day, some human sparks refuse to fray. So as for the first stanza, in faded halls where footsteps slow, old dreams like autumn embers glow, among the chairs and crumbling walls, the ghost of youth in silence calls. The explanation for stanza one is that this stanza sets the atmosphere of the Claremont Hotel, where elderly residents live out their final years. The faded halls and crumbling walls in the stanza symbolize physical decline and the passage of time. The ghost of youth suggests that while the bodies have aged, the memories and desires of their younger selves linger quietly. The imagery of autumn embers evokes a fading warmth, hinting at the last flickers of vitality and hope. So the second stanza, a letter late, a glance unseen, loneliness wears a satin sheen. They sip at tea, they speak in sighs, and meet the world through borrowed lies. For the second stanza, this stanza explores the emotional reality of the residents, isolation, and the small, painful indignities of old age. A letter late can, or a missed glance can carry deep meaning when days are long and eventful and uneventful. Loneliness wears a satin sheen in the stanza suggests how loneliness is ever present but often masked by polite routines or dignified appearances. The residents rely on small rituals like drinking tea and carefully crafted deceptions to maintain their self respect and social standing, reflecting the novel's theme of appearance versus reality. For the third stanza, yet in a boy's kind, careless art, a brittle hand can grasp a heart, and from the ashes briefly rise a tenderness that time belies. For the third stanza, the poem shifts in tone, introducing the possibility of unexpected connection. The boy represents Ludo, who offers Mrs. Palfrey a spontaneous, compassionate friendship. His kind, careless art is his youthful, unself-conscious kindness, which brings warmth to someone who has grown emotionally brittle. Their bond revives forgotten feelings of love and companionship, offering a rare moment of emotional renewal that transcends age and time. For the final stanza, the Claremont hums a hollow tune of waiting out the waning moon, but still within the dying day, some human sparks refuse to fray. So this closing stanza, we're now at the final stanza, this closing stanza returns to the broader setting of the Claremont, now described as a place of quiet resignation, hollow tune and waning moon, emphasize decline and waiting for death. Yet the poem ends with a note of resilience. Despite the surrounding decay, there are human sparks that persist. These sparks represent dignity, affection, and the enduring capacity for connection, even in life's final chapter. So that's it for the poem. Thank you very much. Now, why I chose this novel is that it has straightforward characterization, meaning that the characters are easy to analyze due to clear traits. For example, Ludo being a young man, aspiring but struggling writer, and Mrs. Palfrey, who is an elderly woman who is alone. Second is relatable themes. Issues like aging and loneliness resonate with modern readers. Nowadays, we have uh, old people who are struggling to handle their lives when they got older because of the loneliness. And I think that is a very, very relevant topic or relatable, as you can say. Emotional development. The protagonist's journey from sorrow to joy is very, very compelling. Mrs. Palfrey has been alone for quite some time, and the arrival of Ludo in her life definitely sparked joy. So that is very, very compelling to see. So literary analysis, first is loneliness and aging. The Claremont Hotel is a kind of waiting room for its elderly residents who are isolated from society and even from each other. The poems focus on faded dreams, silence, and ghost of youth, reflects how aging strips the characteristics of vitality and social relevance. Number two is pretending an appearance. In the novel, Mrs. Palfrey pretends that Ludo is her grandson to keep up appearances among the hotel residents. The poem's line about meeting the world through borrowed lies directly references this motive of maintaining dignity through small, sometimes sad deceptions. And the third is connection and tenderness. Mrs. Palfrey bond with Ludo represents a rare and unexpected warmth in an otherwise bleak environment. The brittle hand grasping a heart symbolizes the fragility of late life relationships, but also their deep emotional power. So here, the characters are Mrs. Palfrey, Ludo Myers, Mrs. Arbuthnot, Mr. Osmond, and Mrs. Post. So for Mrs. Palfrey, which is the main character of this novel, she is a dignified widow who moves into the Claremont Hotel to spend the rest of her life. Ludo Myers is an aspiring writer who becomes her closest confidant. Mrs. Arbuthnot is a snobbish resident with a superiority complex. Mr. Osmond is a pompous bachelor, often lonely and detached. And lastly, we have Mrs. Post, kind-hearted but forgetful, probably because of dementia. Here are the settings in the novel. The main setting is the Claremont Hotel, which is located in London, a place where a fading residential hotel symbolizing the decline of its elderly residents. London streets symbolizes Mrs. Palfrey's attempts to engage with the outside world, and Ludo's flat, which represents a modest, cozy contrast to the hotel, representing youth and sincerity. And this is my activity. And that's all from me. Thank you very much.